material balance on combustion systems, and I introduce you with what combustion is, then what are major fuels which are used for producing heat in the industries, which involve like coal, gases as well. Sometimes you use fuel oil. So we looked at this, that all these fuels contain some major constituents which are like carbon, hydrogen, and sometimes sulfur can be there as an impurity. So when they burn, they produce, carbon will produce either carbon dioxide as well as sometimes carbon monoxide. Hydrogen gets oxidized to water, and sulfur to SO2 most of the time. So we looked at these, that when you solve these combustion problem, because oxygen is reacting here, so there will be air because oxygen is part of air. So most of the time you will be using composition of air, which is only nitrogen and oxygen. We just consider it these two elements. Major oxygen reacts, nitrogen is even also not reacting as well. If you consider others, they will also be not reacting, but most of the time here you will be using nitrogen and oxygen. Then after that, we as I said, that carbon reacts to produce either carbon monoxide, sometime along with carbon dioxide. So we classified these reactions, this system, into two categories. One was called combustion, complete combustion, and other was, what was other?
Partial.
Incomplete combustion.
Partial
Yes,
combustion.
partial or incomplete combustion.
Partial.
Good. And then we said that when these fuels burn, various gases are produced, and we call them flue gases, stack gases, and further we go for their analysis. One was based on, or which contains water, which was called analysis on wet basis, and other was analysis on dry basis.
Dry base.
Dry basis.
Dry basis analysis was also named as, what was other name for that analysis?
Austet analysis.
Set analysis.
RSET analysis. Yes, dry base analysis is also named as RSET analysis, in which you just remove the water from the system without water vapor. You look at the composition of the gas, that will be called as composition based on like RSET analysis or dry basis. Then I think we discussed these two problems quickly. Small problem. I think you guys have solved these. If there is any issue, let me know. Otherwise, I think they were straightforward. I have discussed these, and I think here we stopped yesterday. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there is one unsolved problem from your textbook here. I didn't solve it, but I just want to discuss to more clarify these concepts which we have discussed yesterday. So here is a problem statement. Just let's read it. A natural gas consisting entirely of methane. What does this mean? Consisting entirely of methane.
100% methane.
100% methane.
Yes, good. So it's only 100% methane in the natural gas is burned with an oxygen enriched air of composition 40% oxygen and 60% nitrogen. So you guys know already that normally you take the composition of air as 79% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, but here he has considered oxygen enriched air. What does this mean? It means that this air stream which they are bringing in, this stuff that is enriched in oxygen, or that contain oxygen in higher amount as compared to the normally which air has. Okay, due to this he has mentioned here that its amount is 40% oxygen and 60% nitrogen, because it is oxygen enriched air. You are bringing oxygen in a higher amount, large amount. So the RSET analysis of product gas are reported as reported by the laboratory is CO2 is 20.2%, oxygen is given, and then nitrogen is given 75.7%. And he asks us, can the reported analysis be correct? Show all calculation. So at the moment I'm not going to do all calculation, but I want to ask you first of all, what does this RSET analysis mean here?
Dry base analysis.
Dry analysis.
Yes, dry base analysis. So how can you proceed? Can you solve this? because you just studied yesterday that we can do this asset analysis. So what should be your first step?
Basis, sir. 100% basis.
Basis.
Yes, here we will be taking bases as because we are given here two things. One is natural gas which is being burned along with the air. So if you draw the diagram, there will be fuel entering to the system. Fuel is one stream, that is CH4, and other what is entering is air. And you are given the composition of air and composition of this. It is 100% CH4, and other stream which will be entering to this main is oxygen. That is, or you can just consider one stream entering which is fuel as well as that contain oxygen and nitrogen, but no, it is better to take it as a separate stream. This is oxygen and nitrogen, their composition is given. So what should be the basis here? What do you think? And there will be gases leaving this system. So what should be the basis?
So moles consider कर लेंगे.
Yes, good. Because for air,
Sir,
you are
100
given
moles.
the composition of air, that is 40% oxygen and 60% nitrogen. So you can consider here just the 100 moles of air entering to the system. Because when you consider the 100 moles, you can easily find what is oxygen, that will be like 40 moles, and other is like 60 moles. These two will be then like sorted out, that how much amount is entering to the system. Okay, now next step, actually what he has asked us to find the composition on our set analysis. Actually he gave you some composition, and he has asked you to verify either this is correct or not, because he said, can the reported analysis be correct? So what do you think? So what should be the first step here? What you can write? You should write one reaction. So what will be the reaction here?
सर वो combustion reaction लिखेंगे इधर हम.
Yes,
CH4 plus oxygen.
CH4 will react with oxygen, and what will be produced is you will consider what? CO2 plus water.
H2O.
CO2 plus water.
CO2
So
plus
here,
2H2O.
okay, just balance it, please. I'm just just telling you the procedure after this, that what you have to do here. This is the reaction in which you can calculate that how much CO2 will be produced and how much hydrogen, water will be produced. You can just balance the equation and then use this system, that how much amount of this stuff is produced, and overall there will be nitrogen coming out of the system. And what do you think? Actually this is not that straightforward. Still you need some calculation. Either all of the methane is burnt or not. So that will also show, you have to look for this. Actually just initially consider this reaction in which what we are considering, that all of CH4 is burned and CO2 plus water are produced. So you guys do the calculation that how much CO2 is produced, how much water, and then oxygen is which is used here, as well as some oxygen will be left, as he said, because that is coming out of the system as per his analysis. And nitrogen is also there. Nitrogen definitely does not react, and it will be coming out of the system. So then just kick out the water from that system. Only consider three: CO2, oxygen, and nitrogen. Add their moles, and then just find their composition, because you will have their individual mole, and overall just add their moles, total moles. So then compare your composition with these given values. Either they are equal to these or not. If they are equal, then it's mean this analysis is correct. If they are not, it's mean there is something else. And what can be that something else? There are various possibilities. The first possibility here is that maybe CH4 is not completely combusted. Some amount of CH4 will be coming out of the system. This is one possibility. Then The second possibility is that this is not like only combustion reaction, which we call it complete combustion. Maybe there is a partial combustion, and due to that, along with this, another reaction will be taking place, which will be producing carbon monoxide. So those all you have to just mention, you have to just report that these can be possibilities. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone is clear about this, that what you have to do is just to do calculation based on this simple one reaction, which is we are considering this reaction either it is for complete combustion or incomplete. This is for complete combustion. We are just considering that all means CH4 is going to only CO2. And if your final calculation and then composition match with these composition, that's correct, that's fine. Mean this analysis is correct. But if they didn't match, your answer didn't match with these, then it's mean there is something else which should be part of this gaseous stream. Okay, and I have told you those possibilities, that what can be there, CH4 can be there, or sometime maybe CO can be there, or it is also possible that CH4, CO, and then these three can also be there. These are various possibilities. So this is how you have to proceed. This is one of the answer problem. Just do it, please, when you solve other problem. But because this involve all the concepts which we have discussed yesterday, so I was just telling you how you have to use those concepts. Right, next thing which you will come across, and this is widely used in these calculation of combustion system, that is excess and theoretical air or oxygen, this calculation. So here in, I think these next couple of slides, we have to discuss this concept. So what is excess reactant? Do you remember something we studied earlier? Excess and limiting reactant. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So just tell me, please.
So लिमिटिंग रिएक्टेंट जल्दी कंज्यूम हो जाता है और एक्सेस जो ज़्यादा
Yes, limiting reactant was that reactant which is consumed earlier as compared to other, and all others mean except limiting will are considered as excess reactant. If there are only two, maybe one of those is consumed earlier, that's limiting, and other will be in excess. If there are more than one, more than two, then there will be one will be limiting and other will be all in excess. So whenever means some reactants are participating, and here we are considering just if suppose there are only two reactants which are participating in the reaction. So most of the time you will see that they have different costs. One is more expensive as compared to other. So the one which is cheaper, which is less expensive, usually that is provided in excess most of the time. When we provide them to the reactor, they enter to the reactor, so less expensive or cheap reactant is provided in excess amount, because other which is like costly, that at the end of the day we need some amount of the product, so we will put it up to the limit that how much it should be, how much our product will be provided by a specific amount of any reactant, and if something is left over, that should be only less expensive. So here in these combustion systems, so as we discussed yesterday, that there are different fuels which are burned in the presence of oxygen, in the presence of air. Actually oxygen is part of air, so I use them like interchangeably. So in these systems, what do you think, which of these is expensive and which one is cheaper? From fuel and air.
सर फ्यूल एक्सपेंसिव होगा
फ्यूल एक्सपेंसिव
Air
होगा
cheaper
सर
होगा.
So definitely fuel is expensive as compared to air, because air we can freely take from the surrounding. We just maybe have to clean it somehow before feeding it to the reactor anywhere in the combustion system. So definitely fuel is expensive as compared to air. So air will be in excess in all of these system in combustion system. So when these reactions run with the air, mean which is in excess, which is excess mean actually you have to provide it more than required oxygen. excess, something wherever when you say excess, which is left over at the end of the reaction. Why it is left over? Because it is more than the your stoichiometric proportion or stoichiometric requirement as compared to the fuel or any other reactant. So here are a few other terminologies which are used related to this, these calculations of this combustion system. So let's look at those. First of all, theoretical oxygen. Theoretical or stoichiometric is something same. Theoretical or stoichiometric. Uh, how you can find theoretical or required amount of oxygen? They also call it like required. Yes, that's also the same thing. Theoretical, required, or stoichiometric. These three terminologies are same thing. So required, suppose I say 1 mole of CH4 is burning. So how much oxygen will be required for this? Can you tell me? If I just give you just simple information. So how you are considering it?
2 moles.
How you are considering it? Just you will write the reaction. Yes,
Balanced chemical equation, sir.
As in the last question, we were writing like CH4 will react with oxygen and it will be producing what? Here, remember guys, one thing you have to consider, that it is complete combustion. Oxygen required for complete combustion of the fuel, which I am considering here. For example, 1 mole of CH4, if it is completely combusted, complete combustion, what does this mean?
CO2 बनेगी.
It is producing CO2 and water as a reaction. So that's mean here, because this is CH4, so it is producing CO2 plus water. Yes. And if I say, okay, my fuel is only carbon, C. So what will be the product here?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide only, because if I am considering C plus O2, so it is CO2. So here the important thing is that theoretical or stoichiometric or required oxygen, that you find it from stoichiometric equation, that for the given amount of fuel, based on given amount of the fuel, from stoichiometric equation or using stoichiometric equation, how much oxygen is required is called theoretical oxygen. Stoichiometric oxygen amount or required oxygen amount. So let's look at its definition now. So the moles are the molar flow rate of oxygen. The mole, when we are considering a batch system, so we just say that moles, because in batch system you guys know that we feed to the reactor or to the system and then just close it. It's not mean like entering and leaving at the same time. But in the continuous system, there is a molar flow rate. You know that something is entering as well as maybe leaving at the same time. So that's continuous system. Initially, when we started this material balance, we studied these terminologies. What does batch, semi-batch, and continuous mean? I think you remember. So in this system, either we consider mole or molar flow rate. Molar flow rate is nothing, just moles divided by time. If there is something continuously moving, so it will be considered with respect to time. So moles are molar flow rate of oxygen needed for complete combustion of all the fuel fed to the reactor. Assuming that carbon in the fuel is oxidized to CO2, hydrogen to H2O, and S to SO2. By the way, one of the students asked question yesterday, so that's correct. Overall, for all of the component which are being oxidized, component I mean here carbon, hydrogen, and sulfur. So all those which are being oxidized, they should be oxidized to higher oxidation state. For example, for C it should be CO2, for water hydrogen it is water, and for sulfur it should be SO2. So you have to write the equation, and by using that stoichiometric equation you have to find how much or how many number of moles of oxygen are needed for complete combustion of the given amount of fuel. That is called theoretical oxygen. Clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I call it theoretical oxygen, stoichiometric amount of oxygen, or required amount of oxygen, these all three interchangeably used here in the terminologies which you are going to study. So just remember those, please. So next thing is theoretical air. from where oxygen comes?
Sir, air.
Part of air.
Air.
Yes, so it is part of air stream. So whenever you look at this, that theoretical air, that means actually someone is talking about the amount or quantity of air that contains the theoretical oxygen or required amount of oxygen, that will be considered as theoretical air or theoretical oxygen. Then as I mentioned, there is something theoretical and then there is excess. So if I say excess air or excess oxygen, what does that mean? Look, for example, there is an reaction and for that reaction you need 100 mole of oxygen. Oh, sorry, let's consider it as only 21 mole of oxygen. So when you need 21 mole of oxygen, this is theoretical amount of oxygen. Just I am considering it, for example, theoretical 21 mole O2. And how much air will be needed in that system then?
$21 more.
100 mole.
100 mole.
I'm telling you that you need 21 mole of oxygen, O2. Then how much air should be fed to the reactor? That should be 100 mole. Why? Because we are just considering the common composition of air which contain 21% oxygen. So when I enter 100 mole air, that will be providing me 21 mole of oxygen. Okay, so here 100 are entering. But suppose for this same system where 21 moles were needed of oxygen and 100 mole of air was entering, but instead of this is the required, this is theoretical. So I fed 150 mole of air, or just consider it for simplicity, for example 200 moles of air are entering to this system. So either oxygen is or air, either oxygen or air, any you can say. So either this air is as per requirement or in excess.
In excess.
How much excess air is entering?
100 mole.
100 moles, because we were looking, our requirement was only 100, but I am entering here 200 mole. It means some more or large amount of air is entering which is even not needed. So there's something called excess, this 100. So overall you can define it, our excess air is the amount by which air fed to the reactor exceeds or is more in amount than the theoretical required amount of air. That's called excess air. So if I just write, I have to calculate, for example, excess air. Can I just write some simple formula for this? Excuse me, can I write some formula simple? Here you see that for excess air we define that amount by which air fed to the reactor exceeds the amount of theoretical air. There are two terminologies, as I gave you the example that you need theoretically 100 moles of air, because those will provide you actually 21 moles of oxygen, but you are feeding to the reactor or something which is entering to the reactor is the 200 moles of air. So I can calculate the excess amount, that will be equal to air fed to the reactor minus theoretical amount of
Theoretical.
air. That will give me oxygen excess or air excess. Yes, theoretical mean amount of air fed to the reactor or amount of air entering to the reactor, fed to the reactor, entering to the reactor is the same thing, minus theoretical air or required air. Say if I take their difference, that will be equal to excess air. So you guys usually calculate percent excess air. So percent excess air is like defined as something, amount of air in excess divided by required amount of air, multiply by 100, that will give me the percent excess air. This excess air, the something in numerator, that is equal to actually number of mole of air fed to the reactor, fed to the combustion system, minus number of mole of air which are needed theoretically. This based on the above definition we have just wrote here, instead of excess air, you can write the moles of air entering to the system minus moles of air theoretically needed divided by theoretical number of moles of air needed multiplied by 100. This is percent excess air. So just for example, I give you here example that 200 mole of air are entering to the system. So 200 is the feed minus number of mole required. I said they are 100. So it is 200 minus 100 divided by moles of air theoretically needed that are 100. So it is 100 over 100 multiplied by 100. The overall answer is air is 100% in excess. What does this mean? That as per required amount, it is 100% in excess. If 1 mole was needed, we are actually feeding 2 mole, or if 100 moles were needed, you are feeding 200 mole. Guys, up to here it's clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, good.
Yes, sir.
But in most of the calculation, what you will see that you are given the amount of oxygen instead of amount of air, as we were talking here that amount moles of air entering to the system. So in some of the calculation, sometimes you will have instead of moles of air, if you are given, for example, the mole of oxygen, but he asks you to find percent excess air. So how you can proceed, how you can find? If I have to find the moles of oxygen from amount of air or amount of air from the oxygen, can you write some formula? For example, moles of oxygen, I'm writing here O2 only, but that means mole of O2. Okay, let me write here. Mole of O2 is equal to, if I know the moles of air, I will multiply it with 0.21, and that will give me the moles of oxygen. Am I right here?
Yes, sir.
From where this information come? You guys know that air contains 21% of the oxygen. So based on that information, I'm just calculating it. For example, here in the previous example, which I gave you, that we have 100 moles of air. If I put here 100 and I multiply it with the 0.21, I will get the moles of oxygen needed. You know already this stuff. So if here now I want to replace actually here moles of air in this equation with the moles of oxygen. So what will be the equation? Can anyone tell me?
सर moles of oxygen को 0.21 पे divide कर देंगे.
Yes, good. So here moles of air is equal to, actually, if sometime in some of the calculation you guys will be given the moles of oxygen and he will ask you to find the amount of air. So how to find that? Just moles of air is equal to, from this simple equation, that's moles of air is equal to mole of oxygen divided by 0.21. So here all terms of this air, they can be replaced with the moles of oxygen divided by 0.21. So first one will be moles of oxygen in the feed divided by 0.21 minus moles of oxygen theoretical divided by 0.21, and similarly in the denominator. So if I look at the equation, you can see that 0.21 is part of all the terms here. Can we cancel that 0.21 from numerator and denominator? I'm asking you, you can write in even your notebook and check it. Can I just cancel the 0.21 which is coming in denominator of each term? Yes, guys, we can do that, sir, because there will be 0.21 in the denominator of both terms in the numerator. So here 0.21, I can take it common. It will be 1 over 0.21 divided by this major denominator term that will also contain 1 over 0.21. So you can just cancel them, and finally what you will get is that this equation, that percent excess air is equal to oxygen entering or oxygen fed minus oxygen required. I already told you that somewhere sometime we write it theoretical, required, they are same terminologies. So in order to introduce you with all of those, I have used those here, and then divided by oxygen required or oxygen theoretical. That's also the formula for calculating excess air. So if you don't know the moles of air, don't need to worry if you know the moles of oxygen. And this formula is very commonly used. The reason is that most of the time you guys write reactions and they involve oxygen, they don't involve air. Reaction equation involve oxygen, and we know that how much oxygen is required. Sometime also we are given with this information that how much oxygen is entering. Even if it is not given that oxygen, even information if it is given in the form of air, that how much air is entering, you can just directly calculate by given formula here that moles of oxygen are equal to 0.21 times the mole of air. So we can easily do that calculation. And similarly, you can also sometimes use another form of this formula. So just look at this equation which just appeared at the end. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because here in the numerator we have replaced entering minus required, that is always equal to excess. So in the numerator we have written as excess oxygen, and in denominator there is something called oxygen required. So I can just use that formula that oxygen required is equal to oxygen entering minus oxygen excess. This from where I started, excess air, that is equal to this entering minus theoretical. I can rearrange this equation by any means to do this calculation. So it's clear to you, because this will be used a lot for many calculation. You should know these formulas. Any of these will be used sometime in the form of air, sometime in the form of oxygen, and you have to maybe sometime find percent excess air, or sometime percent excess air is given and you have to find required or some other stuff. Any of these terminologies can be found by using these equations. So we can calculate this theoretical air or feed rates easily if we know the two things. What are those two things? First of all, you should know that how much fuel is entering to the system and what is the stoichiometric equation for that system, for that fuel, and that stoichiometric equation for complete combustion. If we know these two information, we can very easily calculate the theoretical oxygen. When I started with this definition of theoretical oxygen, I gave you the example of CH4, that if there is only one mole of CH4, what does this mean? 1 mole, what does that indicate out of these? 1 mole is feed rate, amount of the feed, amount of the fuel entering to the system. And other stoichiometric equation like CH4 will react with the oxygen, and what it will produce is CO2 plus water, because we have to consider complete combustion. And based on that, we can easily find the amount of oxygen required theoretically. We can calculate that feed rate also. After finding in most of these problem, अगर आपको theoretical oxygen find करनी है, if you know or if you have calculated the theoretical, now you have to find that how much air will be entering to the system. If it is not given, if you have to find, then you should have another information that how much percent excess air is entering. Guys, just go back to this formula. Here you see I told you that you can write the formula that excess air is equal to air entered, air fed to the system minus theoretical air. If any of these two quantities we know, we can find third one. Do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if we know one of those theoretical, from where theoretical will come?
Balanced chemical equation.
From balanced chemical equation and given amount of fuel, because balanced chemical equation alone is not enough. You should know that how much is your fuel, because you have to find theoretical how much oxygen is needed for complete combustion of all amount of fuel. So this you can easily find. Now if next, for example, excess amount is given, so you can use that information and can find that how much it will be entering to the reactor. If even excess is not given, suppose feed is given, that you can use these two information to find excess. So same is told here that you can use that. For example, if in any of the system He says that 50% excess air is supplied. So what will be the amount fed to the reactor? So can you calculate, if I tell you, okay, there was 1 mole of theoretical oxygen, not one, just consider it the example of CH4 in which you guys told me that 2 moles of oxygen are needed as per stoichiometric equation and given 1 mole of CH4. And now I'm telling you that 50% excess is given here, or 50% excess air is entering. So what does that mean?
Sir, 3 mole of
3 mole
If there were 2 moles needed and 50% extra from the needed, it will be 0.5 time needed, 0.5 time multiplied by needed. So needed is 2, 0.5 multiplied by 2 give you the 1, that is in excess. So excess is 1, needed was 2, 1 plus 2 will give you total entering to the system is 3. So here one simple equation is given to you that you, in this case, for example, when it is 50% excess, so that is, as I told you, that is 0.5 time theoretical. So 0.5 time theoretical plus theoretical, that will give me overall equation as a 1.5 times theoretical moles of air that will be entered to the reactor. So that's nothing new. It is just theoretical amount plus excess amount, and excess is 50% of required of theoretical. So he has just written here, if it was 1 mole of theoretical plus 0.5 moles of main excess, so that will be total 1.5. So any number of moles here. So for example, I gave you that it is 100% in excess. So what will be this equation here? What will come instead of 1.5? If you have understood this.
2.
How
so
to
total 2
Yes, 2, because it is 1 was required plus 100% more, that 1 plus 1 is 2. So just you can use any of these main factors to find it. Clear? Okay, here we have one problem to use this concept that fuels for motor vehicles other than gasoline are being evaluated because they generate lower levels of pollutants than does gasoline. Means some other fuel instead of gasoline, this petrol you are trying that because they produce less pollutants. So compressed propane has been suggested as a source of power for vehicles. Suppose that in a test 20 kg of C3H8 is burned. Mean this propane, here from here the question starts actually major, that in a test 20 kg of propane is burnt with a 400 kg of air, and how much something is produced is 44 kg of CO2 and 12 kg of CO. He didn't mention here water. Definitely water will also be produced because there is hydrogen in the system, but as per given information, this is just given to you. What was percent excess air? He asked you not to do all other calculation that what is given, what will be produced. He has given you some information and asked you that what was the percent excess air. Guys, can you find percent excess air? So from where you will start? First of all, you should know what is formula for percent excess air. So can I use this formula? In the last slide, I have shown you that main. You can use number of formulas, but as I asked you that it will be preferred to use the formula which involve oxygen. Why? Because we can write here some equation, something reaction, and from there you can see that how much oxygen is maybe required. If we can find somehow the amount required as well amount entering to the system, so I can find percent excess. So look at question please. Can you tell me something which we can directly find for solving this problem? Mean in this equation which I'm telling you, you will be using for calculating percent excess air. Can we find something from our given question? It is in front of you.
CO2.
Sir,
Entering oxygen amount entering. How can you find, or which piece of information will help you? Just tell me that piece of information.
400 kilogram of air.
400 kg.
Good. Yes, because he told you that suppose that in a test 20 kg of propane is burnt with 400 kg of air. So it means that is amount of air entering to the system. So when I know the amount of air, I told you in the last slide that you can find the amount of oxygen from this amount of air. We will convert this amount to the moles, and from that, using ratio of 1 to 0.21 between oxygen and air, you can find amount. Good. Next, oxygen required. How you will find this?
रिएक्शन से
Okay, which
बैलेंस
reaction?
बैलेंस जो मैं बैलेंस इक्वेशन
Yes,
मिली
it will be balanced, but can you tell me either this reaction which we will write will be for complete combustion or incomplete?
सर दोनों का होगा.
Incomplete.
No, guys, remember in the last slide, even in the last slide, in the top of this slide, just look at this information. What is written here?
Complete combustion.
Only complete combustion. Whatever is given in the question, you don't have to take care of that. Remember, whenever you are calculating amount of oxygen required, that is calculated considering complete combustion of the fuel. Okay, so here you will consider only one reaction, and that will be considered as a mean theoretical amount or required amount based on complete combustion. Anywhere where there is a complete or incomplete combustion, don't care about that. Whenever you are looking for oxygen required to calculate percent excess air, that is only based on complete combustion. And from where I started theoretical oxygen or required oxygen, I told you this, that you have to consider oxygen required for complete combustion. This you can also see at the equation. So okay, now clear which reaction you are going to consider?
सर हम यहाँ पे जो ऑक्सीजन की अमाउंट है वो 44 kg ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड से नहीं निकाल सकते?
No. Look, please, I'm again and again repeating it. You have to consider complete fuel, and that fuel is used for complete combustion. So don't look at these values. Again, I'm repeating it. This I have considered it. This question to talk here to clarify these concepts. So you have to consider that how much fuel is there, and if I burn this complete fuel, how much oxygen will be required. So let's look at this solution quickly. I will write one equation only for complete combustion. Remember, whenever I have told you there are two things here. One is you can easily find based on this information of 400 kg. Other is based on the required complete combustion reaction. So just write one simple complete combustion reaction for this fuel, which is propane. It will react with oxygen and it will be producing CO2 plus water. Just balance the equation. As well, you will consider the basis, which is given amount here. He has provided us 20 kg of this, so you can just take it as a basis of this question. So for complete combustion, when CO2 and water are produced, so we can find that how much oxygen is required. From look at this reaction. When 1 mole of propane is consumed, it completely combusts. How much oxygen is required?
5 mole.
5 moles from the equation. But do you know how many moles of C3H8 are entering to reactor?
20.
20 kg is there, so you can just calculate the mole. So we have used here this same information, that 20 kg C3H8. I just converted it to the moles. That how we can convert it to the moles? By dividing with its molecular weight. So that's 20 kg C3H8 and its molecular weight is 44 kg per kg mole of C3H8. So this kg of this will cancel with this, simply mass over molecular mass. So then 1 k here, mean this you have something kg mole of C3H8. Now after this you can just multiply it with the stoichiometric coefficient or stoichiometric ratio of these two chemicals, which is O2 versus C3H8. So whenever there is 1 kg mole of C3H8, you need 5 kg mole of oxygen based on this equation, and that will also cancel. So from here you will get kg mole of oxygen required for complete combustion of given amount of the fuel. So here 20 kg, that was converted to the moles, and then you just multiply it based on stoichiometry, and you can find that it is 2.27 kg mole of oxygen which is entering, or which is required for this. Other entering oxygen that you can find based on the given information, which was 400 kg of air. So you know that this is 400 kg of air. So how we can find its mole? Just by dividing it with its molecular weight. So what is molecular weight of air here?
29 kg.
29. Yesterday we discussed this, and already you know that its molecular weight is 29. So from here you will get the moles of air, but we don't need the moles of air because we were looking for moles of oxygen. So you can find from where that's information that when there are 100 moles of air, that is equivalent to, or that contains 21 kg mole of oxygen. So this kg mole of air will cancel, and you will get moles of oxygen entering to the system in the form of 400 kg of air, and that 400 kg of air will actually contain 2.9 kg mole of oxygen. So now you have both information based on this requirement, based on this formula, that oxygen entering to the process minus oxygen required over oxygen required. I think all these you have already calculated, so just put them here in the formula given here also, so that you can find it that there is 28% excess air is entering to this system. Clear? So this is how you have to proceed with the calculation of percent excess air. Again, let me just repeat that point, that whatever is given in the question, just first of all look at the formula for percent excess. Either you have to use the formula of like in the form of oxygen or air. I told you that most of the time oxygen will help you because you have to write the reaction, and in reaction there is a oxygen. So you can proceed with even air. After calculating the moles of oxygen, you can convert, or you can find the mole of air even based on requirement, based on equation, but it's better to solve it in the form of oxygen. So here we were given 400 kg of air, so we just calculated that how much oxygen is entering, and then how much oxygen was required. That is calculated based on two information, as per the first point on this slide, that you should know two information. What is amount of fuel entering? Either it will be completely combusted or not, we are not concerned about that. We just have to look at amount entering to the system. We should know that amount only. Either it is completely combusted, not combusted, something leave from the system, we don't have to care while we are calculating percent excess air. We just have to find that how much will be needed if all that fuel which is entering is consumed, and that is consumed as per complete combustion reactions. Okay. Hello guys, clear?
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so quickly let me go through this main chart which is given in your book. So that's on x-axis there is ratio between air to fuel. You can just consider it amount of the air to amount of fuel, their ratio. So that's given on the x-axis. Initially when you look at this, the first term, deficient air, what does that mean? That amount of air is low, because I'm telling you this axis is actually amount of air divided by amount of the fuel. So when its value is low, it's mean here amount of air is low as compared to this denominator value, which is amount of the fuel that will be in higher amount. And when you keep on moving along with this axis, definitely if its value of axis is increasing, its mean amount of oxygen is increasing. So initially here we are going to discuss 2-3 points. So deficient air mean air is less, and in here we have excess air. Now you know the concept of excess air, that's mean air is in larger amount as compared to its requirement. And in between there is mean as per stoichiometric air to fuel ratio, What does that mean? That based on stoichiometric equation, how much is something is required. And on y-axis, you are given with the concentration of various components, for example, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, and NOx. So just look at this, that if you look at the amount of carbon monoxide in the start, you can see that when you look at the flue gases composition, when there is system is deficient of air, it will contain very large amount of carbon monoxide and hydrocarbon. Why?
क्योंकि complete combustion.
Yes, because due to deficiency of oxygen, there is not complete combustion. So some unconverted hydrocarbon as well as something carbon is only converted to carbon monoxide. They will be in very large amount. But as you keep on moving along the x-axis, when you keep on increasing the amount of oxygen in the system, what happens? Their amount keep on reducing, because all those hydrocarbon will be somehow converted to the mean CO2 or CO or other stuff as well. CO will be reduced because now oxygen is in large amount, so that helps you to find it. And if you keep on moving along this axis, I will just come back to these NOx. Just look at these 3 points, 1, 2, and 3. The first point here, that's what does that mean? It's mean here, if you look at the point 1, what will be the value on y-axis for CO and hydrocarbons as per point 1?
0.
0. When it will be 0? When, because here you are providing amount of oxygen and air in the sufficient amount. So this point 1 actually represents something we call it optimal air to fuel ratio, that no CO2 is formed. Optimal mean that is giving you complete combustion, so that doesn't contain any CO as well as unburnt hydrocarbon. But if you jump to the point 2, what you can see that what is difference between point 1 and point 2? Actually, we have still increased the amount of air. Amount of air is even higher, more higher than as compared to the point 1. So at this point, our processes usually become less efficient. The reason is because excess air need to be heated, and that will be just consuming the amount of heat which is released or produced. So the point here is that whenever you guys are deciding that how much excess, so excess, there should be some limit on excess. It didn't mean that you should feed to the reactor like up to 500% excess, that I wanna go for complete combustion. No, just the point here is that you should apply sufficient amount of oxygen. It should be in excess, but not in that excess that air, your energy will be consumed in heating of excess air, just air which is just moving through the system without reacting. And if you look at the 3.3, that is not satisfactory. Still amount of CO is being produced and some unconverted hydrocarbon are going out of the system, because you are very close to only stoichiometric. So in this combustion system, when we are just providing air as per stoichiometric ratio along with the fuel, that is always in complete combustion. Some CO2 is produced as CO along with CO2 as well as some unconverted hydrocarbon will be there. So this just, it means you have to provide amount of air greater than the stoichiometric ratio, but it shouldn't be like that greater that your amount of heat which is produced is lost in this system. The other thing here which is mentioned, that's the production of the NOx. So NOx are produced in higher amount at higher temperature, and if you remember from the yesterday's lecture, I told you that what higher temperature are needed.
1800 Celsius.
Yes, 1800. So here you can see, maybe you will be thinking, yes, initially there is small amount of NOx produced, because here when deficient air, so amount of nitrogen is definitely low, but if you keep on increasing, that will keep on increasing. But when you do reach to some above stoichiometric ratio, and if you keep on moving toward excess air, then there is less amount of this NOx production. The reason is because when you are moving toward excess, now temperature in the system reduces, because excess air is also heated, and temperature overall amount of heat produced become less. So due to this, less NOx will be produced. So but just remember major two, carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and their relation with respect to these 3 points. Just you can ignore these nitrogen stuff. So I think again, is there lecture of chemistry?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, we have to
Yes,
stop
sir.
here. Still, there are few things which I have to discuss, and they are important. So we will just consider it from here, and I think then we'll just continue with the next of energy balance after this lecture tomorrow. We are just left with 3 slides, but those are important things I will discuss tomorrow. Thank you.
Inshallah, sir.
So if you have any